Hello everyone, I'm the Whiskey Enthusiast. Welcome back to my channel. We have another first impression. We have 3 Bowmores, new Bowmores at duty free, and on our latest sample Saturday, which one of our members brings different whiskeys and samples it out, so we can make informed decisions about whether we want to pull the trigger on it or not. Hence the importance of whiskey clubs. I would urge anyone who's interested in whiskey to seek out whiskey clubs in their region. If they don't have any, and it could be the case, just gather a few friends of yours who likes whiskey and start your own club. More people will come, I promise you. I'm sure they will. So it's good having whiskey clubs. These are our sample Saturday products, and I'll tell you a little bit of information about them. This is my first impression. I've not had it. I'm gonna have it with you guys. I like Bowmore. It gets a lot of stick, and rightly so in certain aspects, but I like it. It was one of the first whiskeys I started having properly, especially in duty free. What was it? Surf or No One, number 1 or something. Those two I used to get all the time. I liked it. It was peaty. It was maritime. There was a bit of a lactic note there. There was a bit of a yeasty note there. I enjoyed it. I have some information, but not a lot. But we're going to start with 14, then we go 16 and 19. All right. These are the boxes, sorry. This is number 14, Bordeaux cask finish. I'll show you the box. That's pretty cool. Now, they had a 3 different run of Aston Martins on duty free, but they were all same as their core range, more on par with those. These are different. These are cask finishes, so we get more. But I like the coloring on this. So number 14, I'll just show you the bottle. Like I said, sample Saturday, but everyone's kind enough to give me the bottles. Bordeaux cask finish, matured in American oak, ex-Bourbon cask, and finished in Bordeaux wine barriques, which is 225 liter barriques, so you get more interaction with the wood and the whiskey. And this is a 12-year-old in American ex-Bourbon barrels, and then 2-year finishing in Bordeaux casks, Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot grapes from the Bordeaux. 43%. I don't know anything about chill filtering or coloring. I don't think they are non-chill filtered or natural color, but please correct me if I'm wrong. I always say I'm not an expert. I just give my opinions on these things. All right, Bordeaux, 14-year-old. Let's go. First impression. Ooh, that is interesting. That is very tannic. Sweet and sour. First thing that came to mind was sweet and sour chicken with some ginger. That is crazy. It's very tannic. The lactic note is there that I get, a yeasty note from Bowmores. But it's not sweet. I'm used to more sweet Bowmores. This is dry. Fresh red berries, not red berry jams, like fresh ones, so a bit tart. And that is so funny. There's a bit of a funk there that I normally don't get with Bowmores. It's almost like if you gave this to me blind, I could ask you if this is like a French whiskey, those whiskeys that distilled in those alembic style old school ones, or hint of that peat in here reminds me of the Icelandic whiskey. I'll put the link up there. It was smoked. The malt was smoked with sheep shit, and it had a weird, funky taste. Well, smell. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's interesting for sure. Very tannic, very dry, very fresh berries. Okay, on the palate. Wow. Okay. Right off the gate, I'll tell you one thing. If you're expecting this to be similar to the Bowmore 12 or 15, somewhere in between, it's not. These casks plays, at least for 14, it worked. 2-year cask finishing. It increased the yeasty notes, but it's very dry, which is, I'm still chewing and I want more. It's incredibly dry. It's very red. It's super tannic. The yeasty notes even increased a bit more. I'm not in love with the nose. It gives me that funk. It gives me that young spirits distilled in those kinds of stills that I don't enjoy. But the palate is interesting for sure. Very creamy. Nice hints of chocolate. Red currant. The ginger note is on the back end now, the finish. But the palate is more milk chocolate. Creamy. Red currant, blackberries, and yeah, dried grapes. Not raisin though, it's not as raisiny sweet, it's just freeze dried maybe. Yeah, it's very dry. It's very dry, which makes you want to take another sip. This would go really well chilled. I think it's a bit overwhelming in a hot climate, but I think it would go really well with a little bit of chilling, which is, I know single malts, and when you're not doing a tasting, when you're doing a drinking, when you're doing enjoying, it could be nice chilled. Yeah, for 3%. Okay, let's cleanse the palate. Move on to the next one. We're moving on to 16-year-olds. All right, that box could fall. Again, a similar kind of coloring, which I like on these. This is the 16. You can see, this is the ruby port cask finish. At least they don't say port, they say ruby port, which is nice. And this is matured in American ex-Bourbon cask and European oak sherry cask, finished in hand-selected ruby port cask from the Douro Valley from Portugal. So ruby port is younger than Tawny port, doesn't have an age statement, and mostly matured in steel tanks rather than woods, but obviously this one is matured in wood. So ruby port is your entry port. And this is the bottle, 16. And does it say anything else? Finished in ruby first. Yeah, okay, 43%. Continuing. There's one thing behind this box that's interesting. It says what it is, 16-year-old and American oak ex-Bourbon cask and European oak sherry cask. And then it says this finished in port cask. This gives Bowmore another level of strikingly mature fruitiness from casks already seasoned with Bordeaux to soften its tannins and provide a less dry finish. You can read it there. Can you see it? It's on the white one. Now, what Bordeaux? Do they take this? But no, because this doesn't have any sherry. Enlighten me, please. I have so many informative followers. I would like to learn if this is a typo or do you know something? Okay, 16. Again, for 3%. And let's go. Dive on the nose. Okay, more like it now. But I'm not gonna lie, the peat is quite in the back seat on this one. This is a bit... okay. There's sweetness, there's freshness, there's dryness, there's raisins, there's a bit of apricot, hint of orange oil. Bit cinnamon, but it's not that strong sherried Bowmore, nor the peat is so apparent. It's a bit of a shy nose, okay, on the palate. I don't know what happened to the peat in this. It's nearly non-existent. Interestingly, but the palate is peat juice, or apricot juice, more like. The lactic notes is there, it's yeasty. There's caramel, there's white chocolate. A lot of apricot notes. The finish is a bit gingery, but it's quite yeasty on the palate. Whereas on the nose, you get white chocolate, you get raisins, sultanas, you get orange peel, orange oil, dry sweetness, but also caramel. But I'm struggling to get any port in this. We don't know the finishing periods. Let's do a second round. I mean, it's good. There's a bit of spice on the palate. The ginger note is there, and the back palate. White chocolate. It's yeasty, but it's forgettable. I wouldn't remember this one. I would remember the 14. It was interesting. It was very dry, very tannic, and more peaty. Obviously, younger the age, the more peat effect you get. It's not because peat disappears into the air. The more time spent in the cask, more effects of the cask and more outside effects touch the whiskey. So the peat doesn't flow out. The peat gets overwhelmed by other products. This I learned from Mike Palate, who's an author, and he loves to visit peat bogs because he's a scientist. And I can't remember the name of the book, but I'll put it up there. It's not the supers, it's not the most easy read, but if you're interested into the, technical stuff about the peat, and it's a bit of a dry book, but it gives you good information about what peat does and what peat is and what it affects on the whiskey. So this one, 16, a bit forgettable. Let's go on to the 19. Let me cleanse my palate. Okay, 19 comes with this box, a bit more, bigger. And this is Pinot Noir cask finish, matured in American ex-Bourbon cask and finished in hand-selected Pinot Noir cask from Burgundy's most distinguished winemakers. And the results should be spectacular to the taste. The light, low tannin and medium-bodied Pinot Noir leaves a lasting effect on the barrel, adding a bright top note of berries and plums to crisp green apples and soft butteriness. Again, we don't know a time. We don't know how long the finish was, but you get a bit more premium now. And let's put this back there. And that's the bottle. 19. Yeah. Okay. Again, 43%. All right. Okay. Let's go. Bowmore 19 duty-free expression Pinot Noir cask finish. I like the freshness of this. Get more. Somehow I get more peat on this than I did on the 16. Nice, fresh, tannic. There's milk chocolate, not white chocolate, milk chocolate, roasted nuts. Nice apple juice. Hint of pear, definitely grapes, cacao powder. It's dry as well. This one's dry as well. Not the lactic notes I got from 14. Okay, on the palate. Oh, this is pretty. Oh, this is pretty. This is balanced. This is Bowmore, all right. You get the nice yeasty notes. You get nice sweetness. You get good caramel, good chocolate notes. Bit of vanilla from the American, from the ex-Bourbon. And then dry finish. A lot of, not a lot of, but nice touches of fresh green apple. Some red apple there as well. It's a very dry finish. I want more. Now on the second round. This is more on par with 14. Wine finish, sure. I mean, this ruby port, I don't know what happened there, but quite dry, peated, but Bowmore peat, and even less. That is 19. Fresh, dry, bit tannic. Yes, I like this one. This is a full-bodied whiskey. It's a nice sit down and enjoy. It's a bit hot. Spiciness is there, bit of paprika there. Fresh, dry, sweet, spicy, yeasty. If you like the Bowmore character, 19 and 14 are good alternatives to see what the cask finishings are. They're not those heavy sherried ones, like the Devil's Cask ones, I really liked. Bowmore does really well with sherry casks. But apparently it does well with wine casks as well. Not the same style of wellness. I still would prefer the Devil's Casks, the more sherry, or the more sherried ones. But it's interesting, and at least there's something else that they're doing. I mean, that 14 is really lovely, really nice, easy sipper, dry, tannic, and I gave you all the notes, but I'll remember the 14. I enjoyed this. 16 feels a bit out of balance, feels a bit nothingy, feels a bit, I don't know why it's there. I don't think any of the casks worked too hard on it. There's sherry there, there's bourbon there, and there's port there, ruby port. I can't really pick any of them out that much. I think they canceled each other out. The 19 is prickly, it's fresh, it's sweet, it's yeasty, it's tannic, it's good. But out of these, I would pick the 14, which is the cheapest anyway. So that's my service to you. And this was my first impression of the new Bowmore duty-free range. I think there's a 22 as well, which our friend didn't get because it's expensive. These are all. But out of the three, I would vote number 1, 14, 19, and then 16. I would say skip the 16. 14 is a good alternative. If you like Bowmore and if you want to try something else as a wine finish, 14 is a good alternative. If you like to splurge, 19 is an interesting one as well. I would enjoy this. Sit down and relax from now on. After this video, I'm going to enjoy these three. But yeah, these are my first impressions of this series. Let me know. Guys, thank you. If you like this video, please hit that like button. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. It does mean a lot. And let me know, have you tried any of these? Will you try any of these after this? What do you think of Bowmore in general? Do you like it? Are you on camp hate on Bowmore? Tell me your thoughts. And if you'd like to buy me a dram, you can also join my channel. If not, like, share, subscribe. All is much appreciated. And I shall see you guys on the next one. Cheers.